Okay, one thing I want to talk about is the duplication of spells. This is really going to cut down on some of the vampire spam where, oh look, I'm going to raise dead, I'm going to raise dead, I'm going to raise dead. No. Each wizard in your army may only know one spell. And what that really means is you can't have two wizards casting Fireball, for example. If it's the level 0 spell or the default spell, then I believe, I'd have to read the book again, that you can have two wizards have that. But you couldn't have two wizards having the comet, and I really like that. So it's going to make a greater variety in the magic phase. Okay, one thing that hasn't changed is basically each spell has a casting value. You roll any dice from 1 to 6 and add your wizard's level. So let's say we're trying to get off, let's say the comet, and we roll 6, 3, there's an 11, and he was to say a level 2, that'd be a 13. Okay, my opponent would get to try to dispel that. Let's say he's a level 4, and he's rolling 2 dice. Well, 4 and 7 would be 11. He didn't stop it. That's right, the dispel is a little bit different, and he also adds his level of one of his wizards. So that level 4, gives you 4 to your dispel dice. So, I mean 4 to your dispel roll. Sorry about that. And here's one of the largest changes in this edition. Yes, this is my 7th edition rule book. Don't have the 8th one yet because it's not out. But is miscasts and irresistible force. It's not called miscast anymore, and I'm drawing a mind blank. It's called something else. But anyways, double 1s are no longer relevant. If you roll double 6s, then it is irresistible force and a miscast. And there are only 5 miscasts in the book, and they're all pretty bad. Take a strength 6 or 10, and you can lose levels. So it's basically high risk, high reward, and it's actually fun. It's streamlined too. The magic phase is no longer nearly as long as it was before. Okay, out of the 8 lores in the main rule book, each lore has maybe 1 or 2 spells held over, and the rest are all new. So each lore has 5 or 6 or so new spells, and there are some good ones where you can like turn into a dragon. You can do 46 for on like a fireball. You can heal. You can add your strength and toughness. I mean, it's really, I like it. There's a lot more variety in this edition, so it's going to make it, I think, really fun. One thing that's a little strange is you're supposed to pick your lore before you put models on the table. So you show up at your local hobby store. The guy says, "Hey, I'm playing Bretonians," and you pick your lore before he puts any models on the table. So a little bit different. Whether it's good or bad, I guess time will tell, but it's just a little different. Alright, one of my pet peeves is dispel dice. And dispel scrolls. I used to hate, we had a local Bretonian player. He would run 2 level 1 scroll caddies and then 4 dispel scrolls. Basically shut down your bad magic to allow him to charge you. Well, dispel scrolls are now, as you can see right here, a regular magic item. So your army may only take 1 of these. This is huge. I like it. It won't stop an irresistible, but you know what? It's a welcome change in my book too. Alright guys, one last thing. Like I said, when the PDFs come out, it'll, for those races that have their own spells, don't know if they're going to change. Right now, casting values range anywhere from low to into 20s, and there's some really brutal spells. Magic is quick. A lot of times people throwing 6 dice, Oh, one thing I did forget is, let's say you have a wizard, 2 wizards. The first wizard tries to cast, I don't know, Fireball, and doesn't get the roll off. Well, this is something that's different in this edition in 8 than it is in 7. When a wizard fails to get a spell off, when I mean get it off, meet the casting value, not have it dispelled, then they are done for that magic phase. That means if the wizard fails to get it off, then he can't cast any more spells till your next turn. So sort of interesting. That's why you may want to consider 2 wizards instead of 1, because it would stink to roll low on your only wizard and then he'd be done and you'd have no more magic. But anyways, as far as how magic items work on stealing dice, like for the orcs and goblins, power dice and all that, it's going to have to be addressed. I'm sure it'll work. Just take 1 casting dice and give them a spell. Be interesting to see. What else am I forgetting? Oh yeah, one thing, it's a little bit of a change, but it's under the magic items, and anything that gives you magic resistance is now a ward save. It doesn't add dice to your dispel. It just adds, like, let's say if it's magic resistance 1, you get a 6+ ward save. Magic resistance 2, 5+. A little bit of a change. I like it. I actually do. I like that better than the other system where it just gives you dice. Anyways, starting to ramble. I think I covered the majority of the Magic and the Magic phase for 8th edition. I look forward to picking my book up over the weekend. And guys, get out there and play some Warhammer Fantasy, because you know what? This edition, it looks to be fun. Everything I've seen, the random charge actually does work. Everything else I've seen in the game is a improvement, and overall it's one of the best rule books I've seen from Games Workshop in a long time, and I've been playing fantasy for over 10 years. Anyways, take care guys, have a good one. Later.